you know as well as I do, Reverse is finally out. If you played from release, which was last night, at the time I recorded this video, it was 12 hours ago. It's a very promising game. I haven't had this fun in a very long time. And all I want to do is I just want to play it. And also I noticed in my Twitch stream last night, twitch.tv/MaximGacha. You know I gotta plug it. A lot of people don't know who to pull for. A lot. They are torn between the 1 gram of curiosity Sotheby banner or the Clang of Sword and Armor Knight banner. I already made a video on the Knight banner in and of itself because I wanted to talk about the 2 5-stars more so than I do the 2 6-stars. But yeah, ultimately, look, let's talk about it. Because the overall bang for buck is the Knight banner. I went through this in the previous video I mentioned before. Tenant and Beyond Bloom, don't tell me it's Cornbloom. Beyond Bloom sounds better, okay? Beyond Bloom and Tenant are ultimately amazing options if you aren't going to be getting a Knight either. Because Beyond Bloom is, with all intents and purposes, a 6-star. The damage output, the dispelling, the debuffing. She can do everything, and she can do everything really good. Even better than other characters who have the whole kit built around doing one thing. She can do 3 things as good as the one thing. Jack of all trades. No, we're not making that joke. And as you know, Tenant kind of strong too. But we'll talk about it individually. So Beyond Bloom has the ultimate of Uninvited Reviewer, where it's a 1-target attack. It does 550% reality damage and inflicts seal, and seal means they cannot use their ultimate. This is a massive advantage to have in late game on top of boss fights when they really pack a punch, and you can potentially be in the situation of getting one-shotted. You can save a run if you just time your Beyond Bloom ultimates correctly and almost outright just end characters with the 550 reality damage if, you know, you're in a safe kind of spot, you need to end the fight. Her debuff as well is all enemies have reality defense shredded by 15% and damage taken plus 15. So even if it's not reality damage that your allies are using, they still take increased damage in general. It's just reality gets the benefit all that much more. And of course, as you expect, it gets stronger and stronger the more you buff it. No changes to the actual ability whatsoever, just better. And then the attack hits 2 enemies, and if they have any sort of affliction onto them, you deal even more damage. So let's put it like this, okay? If you somehow time this to have a 3-star debuff of Prying Ear with 25% reality damage shred and 25% damage taken, and then you time your ultimates, you're dealing 775 reality damage. If I did the math correctly. I think I did. And that's just for her. You want to run reality mono as a team. She is going to be busted. I can't stop talking about this character. She's so good, man. Also, by the way, the skin when you get inside 3 is, it's kind of nice, can't lie. And I'm sure all you know, Tenant is just an amazing beast damage dealer. And she also gives you a shield, so kind of a pseudo sustain in a sense as well. And I have been using her. I am granted very early game. We are stage 10 of chapter 1. But the shield is coming in very, very clutch when we're trying to limit test what we have, which is kind of weird even doing now, but I just kind of want to see what is good and isn't good going forward so I can give you better information. Not to mention her ultimate's got one of the sickest animations, but that's besides the point because it does deal 550% reality damage and then gains 2 stacks of Diamond Bullet, and Diamond Bullet destroys reality defense. Not just 15% this time, minus 30. Obviously running Beyond Bloom and Tenant in the same team is kind of a must. And we all know about A-Knight, the absolute Giga Chad Frenchman. By the way, if we can see his gauntlet and cape, is he naked? Does he just straight up have his cut? Besides the point. But look, we all know A-Knight for his ultimate, which is after AD's 778. And it is a reality damage mass attack. Again, reality damage. And if you do kill an enemy with it, you get Rousing Morale, which is damage bonus plus 50% on all allies. So which is also a buff. A-Knight is a through and through DPS and boss killer kind of build. He's pretty basic. You don't have to go too far into him. You just know he does lots and lots and lots of damage. And here's the other banner. 1 gram curiosity, which is the Sotheby banner. For you people who really care about meta and who's good and who's bad, as much as it pains me to say it, because dude, X is my dog, sick design, I'd probably be saying no to this banner. If you are conscious of, you want the game to be easier because you want to get the better units and you want to have less time stressing about how to clear late stage stuff, I'd probably give this banner a skip. Sotheby's great in the late game, don't get me wrong. Early game, she's kind of sleeper, but I never understood the early game argument just because we all get to late game eventually once we beat all this stuff, right? And once you beat late game, you don't just go back to early game. That's not how that works. But late game, she's fine, but there's so many better options by the time you get to the point she's useful. It kind of sucks, to say the least. X, there's a lot of worry about his damage output and everything like that, and to be fair, I don't blame him. I mean, sick art, by the way. X removes Moxie, so they can't charge their ultimates. For those who don't know, Moxie points are ultimate points. When you max your Moxie out, you get your ultimate card in your stack. So X stops that. You know, stops them from hitting me up with the meteorite from goddamn Zeus or something like that. And then outside of that, it's just reality damage. That's all it is. Yeah, you dispels counter at 2-star and 3-star, and dispels are it pretty much just a debuffer. That X is a debuffer and a ultimate staller. That's probably the best way to explain him. And in late game, you probably need someone who can do a little bit more than just those two things. But there is a saving grace to this banner, and it's Charlie. Charlie's kind of sick with it. So Charlie's ultimate is pretty much a dispel that clears everything, which is buffs, advancements in speed, and counterattacks. And then after that is all done, just cleanses the field with 300 mental damage to everyone on the field. So, you can see why that's kind of good. Also, I'm sure you could probably tell at this point, Charlie only gets better the harder the game gets. Kind of doing what X is missing with the outright damage side of things. And then Thunder to Thee, which is an incantation, is a single target attack which deals 270% mental damage at 2-star, and if the caster has stats up a position, so if Charlie has any buffs, 60% mental damage increase, which if you do the math on it is just over 400%, and that's on 2-star. Like 1-star alone is like 250. Or just shy of. Charlie got a lot of damage going for him. And then obviously Tempest to Thee, which is the final incantation, is a single target attack, which deals 180% mental damage. And if their HP is below 50%, deals extra mental damage. This doesn't change no matter how much you charge it, but it just only gets stronger, as you expect. So, to talk about SOTHEBY, she's good, but really comes down to how stacked your account is by the time the game starts getting hard, because we get a lot of summons, and I mean a lot of summons to launch the game. We get 73 after playing the first chapter. And yeah, so let's really quickly go through it. SOTHEBY has triple the dose, which is a mass attack. It deals rally damage to 2 enemies and inflicts poison. Poison is at the end of the round. They take damage based on their attack, and it can also stack, so that's the benefit. It can stack, it can get better the further the fight goes on. It's just going to be a situation of how often you're going to be able to pop this to be able to have it stack and do better, you know what I mean? And also, healing is huge. It's always good to have a healer in your team, so you could use it for that aspect too. Heals 2 allies and applies them with Cure, which restores HP based on her attack, and depending on how good you have her attack stacked, could be a really, really, really good healer. And then obviously her ultimates. It is a mass attack. It deals damage to all enemies, 350% reality damage, by the way, and all active poison and cure statuses in every character take effect immediately. So without having the damage over time proc, she just goes boom, and it is set in stone. They instantly have the direct repercussion for having these afflictions on her. I could see SOTHEBY working in like really big single target boss fights, because without the variety of enemies, you should be able to hit stacks on this pretty decently and then combine that with your mix them all up ultimate. Again, I'm not a SOTHEBY haver. I'm just going with my opinion. I'm just doing what's asked of me. But that's overall my opinion. You can survive just fine with these characters. Charlie is a sleeper character. The damage output here is nuts, to say the least. But I think ultimately, Clang of Sword and Armor is the better banner. Beyond Bloom and... Fine, I'll say it. Cornbloom, I'm sorry, it just doesn't roll off the tongue better. Cornbloom and Tenant, they're just such good picks if you aren't getting a knight, or if you don't get lucky and don't end up getting a knight. You at least get these characters, and at that you at least get some copies. That's just a W. And yeah, at the time you're watching this video, I am live on Twitch. If you want to come stop by and say hi, I'll leave the link in the description below, as well as join my Discord. Everyone in there won't shut up about Reverse 1999, myself included. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know who you're going to be pulling, regardless of my words or not. And yeah, see you guys in the next video, or over on stream, whichever one works better. But I don't want to take any more time up out of your day, so I'm gonna head out. Peace.